And we've touched on the militarization of the police forces, such as the ones in Ferguson, and even in small towns such as Franklin, Indiana, which, by the way, only has a population of just over 2,000 people, but now sports an NRAP due to the Pentagon's 1033 program. Yes, an MRAP. But what you might not know is that it's not just regular police that are getting military equipment for free through this program, but it's also campus police. Yes, campus cops. Campus cops are getting MRAPs. Now, Vice did some reporting on this and found that many campus college police forces have successfully armed themselves with military-grade equipment. For example, Ohio State University in 2013 has its own mine-resistant vehicle. In 2012, UC Berkeley tried also to get the same kind of mine-resistant vehicle, but decided against it because of backlash. Why? Well, from who? Well, backlash from people who are asking why the hell a university needs a mine-resistant war vehicle. Guys, I know campus parties can get a little crazy, but geez, I don't think you need an MRAP to break one of those up. Now, one more thing. The 1033 program does do things like give out computers, office supplies, car parts, and other things that actually do make sense. But what this program sounds like it needs is some serious oversight and a change in what equipment should go where. If you don't really do that, then you end up with places like Ohio State getting one of these vehicles for doing God knows what. Sean, what do you think?
I mean, to be fair, Jeff, did you pull up the statistics of how many campus security guards were killed by improvised explosive devices planted in the middle of the road last year?
Yeah, it was about 0.
Zero? Yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Yeah, obviously there's no justification for the campus police to have this. Like, if there is a riot on the campus, call the actual police. Like, you are there for minor infractions. Like the campus in my college, the campus police drove in golf carts. Like they're basically golf carts. They took you from building to building. It's not a huge deal. There's no improvised explosive devices. There's no need for you to be super heavily armed. It's ridiculous, and it's part of this stupid program in Homeland Security where they give you grants to buy stuff from them, which makes no sense unless we're living in a world where weapons contractors can bribe the government officials to set up a system like this. Like, we are selling our weapons of war to any person who basically asks for it, as long as they're wearing a fancy uniform. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's no need for it. And it should make everybody uncomfortable, especially college-age people or even college students on the panel. Like this guy. It makes me uncomfortable to see this at the campus.
And what's next? Mall cops?
I gotta jump in. Sean, I don't know if you were kidding when you said golf carts, because if that were true, I'd be very surprised, because admittedly I live in a city that has can count roughly 10% of its population to be attributed to the university. It's a very, very large university, one of the largest in Canada, and it has its own police force, and they have full-fledged cop cars. They don't have, I don't think they're allowed weapons, and guns, but I think they have mace and batons and maybe a taser. But yeah, the idea of campus police having one of these is an MRAP is insanity. I can't even fathom that. Some people don't even think they should really have the cop cars that they have, thinking they're not all real cops. I don't know. I don't care about that. Although, to be absolutely fair, being a TA, or was a TA last year, you don't want to know how scary students can get when you tell them they're not doing good in their course. Whoo.
Julie, what do you think?
You might need the MRAP then.
Well, it's not only the colleges that are being armed. There are actually 10 different school districts that we're talking elementary, high school districts in Texas that are getting these type of weapons. Why in the hell do these schools need this? How are they going to prevent school shootings when they're perpetuating violence by adding to it with this type of armory?
I mean, for me, I think one of Sean's first points is right, is that if there is a riot on site. I mean, universities, kids can get raucous, they can have some protests that then get out of control. If that happens, yeah, you call the police, and then the police still shouldn't have access to these sort of MRAP vehicles. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've been to 3 universities in my time, and the security at university, when you have kind of university security, at most they'll have a key card that lets you into buildings late at night. That's all the security at UK universities is there for. They don't even have batons or tasers. If there's a problem, then you call the, well, supposedly trained professionals. In America, that's not necessarily the case with some police forces, as we've seen, but you call the police if there's an actual kind of violent problem. It's absolute madness that any police force is allowed to have an MRAP, let alone just school cops. I mean, next they're going to have more cops, you know, kind of more security that are going to be allowed to walk around with grenade launchers and M16 rifles. It's absolute insanity, and this program should be stopped immediately. But if a bill came up in kind of the House or in the Senate saying, oh, let's scrap the 1033 bill, it would be voted down immediately. And that's one of the most depressing things as well, because everyone knows there's, you know, trying to pass a bill that would get rid of that program, it wouldn't stand a chance of succeeding.